A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a rapidly evolving geopolitical landscape, India finds itself at a crossroads as it grapples with its oil import strategy. With imports amounting to approximately 1.7 million barrels a day, nearly 37% of the nation's overseas oil purchases, Indian refiners are now scouring the globe for alternative supplies. This shift comes in the wake of increasing pressure from the United States, particularly from President Donald Trump, who has demanded that India halt its purchases of discounted Russian crude oil, which he claims fuels the Kremlin's war machine. The stakes are high as the world watches the upcoming summit between Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, scheduled for Alaska on Friday. The outcome of this meeting could have significant implications for India's oil procurement plans. Indian refiners, including major players like Indian Oil Corporation and Bharat Petroleum Corporation, have already begun diversifying their sources, purchasing non-Russian crude from various regions, including the US, Brazil, and the Middle East. This proactive approach is a response to the threats posed by Washington, as Indian state processors aim to secure their oil supplies ahead of the anticipated discussions between the two world leaders. Historically, India has relied heavily on oil imports from the Middle East, but this dynamic shifted dramatically following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The imposition of a $60 per barrel price cap by the Group of Seven nations aimed at limiting Russian oil revenues has significantly altered the landscape. As a result, India's imports of Urals crude, a medium-density grade interchangeable with Middle Eastern barrels, have surged. However, the task of finding alternative sources has been made somewhat easier by a global oil market currently oversupplied, thanks to the return of OPEC+ barrels and a decline in demand from major economies like China. Despite the ongoing tensions, private refiners in India, such as Reliance Industries Limited and Nayara Energy, continue to engage in contracts for Russian crude, albeit with caution. The looming threat of secondary sanctions from the US has left many traders hesitant, complicating the logistics of purchasing Russian oil. This uncertainty has led some Indian importers to consider alternative payment methods, including smaller banks and transactions in Chinese yuan, to circumvent potential sanctions. As the oil market braces for the ramifications of Trump's threats, analysts are closely monitoring the situation. The potential for secondary tariffs on key buyers of Russian crude, including China and Turkey, could further complicate matters. The International Energy Agency's latest report paints a bearish outlook, forecasting significant inventory builds and a cautious approach from major oil-producing nations. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is actively engaging with European leaders, including a scheduled meeting with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Thursday, to rally support ahead of the crucial talks between Trump and Putin. Zelensky's efforts underscore the urgency of maintaining Ukraine's territorial integrity in the face of Russian aggression. As the world watches the unfolding drama, the implications for India's oil strategy remain uncertain. The meeting in Alaska could either ease tensions or exacerbate them, forcing Indian refiners to adapt to a new reality in the global oil market. With so much at stake, the coming days will be pivotal for India's energy landscape and its diplomatic relations with both the US and Russia. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.